The rain fell hard on Highway 47 that Tuesday night. Lisa Carter gripped the steering wheel of her old Honda as water poured down her windshield. She was tired after working 2 shifts at Murphy's Diner. Her back hurt and her feet were sore. All she wanted was to get home to her small apartment. The clock on her dashboard showed 11:20 p.m. Danny would be waiting up for her. Her younger brother always worried when she worked late. He was only 17, but he acted like he was the older one sometimes. Lisa smiled, thinking about him. Tomorrow was his big history test. She had promised to help him study. Lightning flashed across the dark sky. The storm was getting worse. Lisa slowed down as she drove past the old gas station that had been closed for years. The road was empty except for her car. Most people were smart enough to stay home on nights like this. Then she saw the black car on the side of the road. Lisa pressed the brake and pulled over. Through the rain, she could see a man standing next to a fancy sedan. The car's hazard lights were blinking. The man was wearing a dark suit and looked like he was having trouble with his tire. Lisa sat in her car for a moment. She was exhausted. Her clothes were dirty from working in the kitchen all day. She smelled like grease and coffee. This man in his expensive suit probably wouldn't want help from someone like her, but her father had always taught her to help people in need. It doesn't matter who they are or what they have, he used to say. When someone needs help, you help them. Her father had been gone for 3 years now, but she still heard his voice in her head. Lisa turned off her engine and grabbed her old rain jacket from the back seat. She put it on and stepped out into the storm. The rain hit her face immediately. Within seconds, her shoes were soaked. She walked toward the man and his car. He looked up when he heard her footsteps. He was probably in his 40s, with dark hair that was now wet from the rain. He looked surprised to see her. "Are you okay?" Lisa called out over the sound of the rain. "Do you need help?" The man stared at her for a moment. Then he nodded. "Yes, actually. I have a flat tire, and I'm not very good with these things." He pointed to the rear tire on the driver's side. It was completely flat. Lisa walked around the car to look at the tire. She had changed plenty of tires before. Her father had taught her when she was 16. "You never know when you'll need to." "Know this," he had said. "Do you have a spare tire?" she asked. "I think so. It should be in the trunk." The man opened the trunk. Inside was a small spare tire and some tools. Lisa looked at everything quickly. The tools looked expensive and new, like they had never been used. "Okay, this should work," Lisa said. "But we need to get your car off the road a little more. Can you drive it a few more feet?" The man got back in his car and moved it further onto the shoulder. Lisa waited in the rain. Her jacket was already soaked through, but she didn't care. This wouldn't take long. When the man got out of the car again, Lisa was already taking the tools out of the trunk. "What's your name?" she asked. "Jake," he said. "Jake Morrison. And you are?" "Lisa Carter." She smiled at him. "Nice to meet you, Jake, even if it's in the middle of a storm." Jake laughed. "Yes, not exactly ideal weather for this." Lisa got down on her knees next to the flat tire. The ground was muddy and wet. Her jeans were getting dirty, but she ignored it. She had been dirty before. "I can't believe you stopped to help me," Jake said. "Most people would just drive by." Lisa looked up at him. "My dad always said we should help each other. Besides, I know what it's like to be stuck somewhere and need help." She started loosening the lug nuts on the flat tire. They were tight, but she had strong hands from all her work at the diner. Jake watched her work. He seemed impressed. "You really know what you're doing," he said. "My dad taught me. He said a person should know how to fix basic things." Lisa continued working. "What do you do for work, Jake?" "I'm in research and development," Jake said. "For a technology company. What about you?" "I work at a diner downtown, Murphy's Diner, and I go to school part-time. I'm studying engineering at the community college." "Engineering? That's impressive." Lisa shrugged. "I like figuring out how things work, how to fix them when they break." She had the flat tire off now and was putting the spare tire on. "This spare will get you home, but you should get a real tire as soon as possible. These little spares aren't meant for long trips." "Thank you, I really appreciate this." Lisa tightened the lug nuts on the spare tire. The rain was still falling hard. Both of them were completely soaked now. "There," she said, standing up. "That should do it." Jake put the flat tire and tools back in the trunk. Then he reached for his wallet. "Please, let me pay you for this. You've been so helpful." Lisa shook her head. "No, thank you. I don't want any money. I was just helping." "Are you sure? At least let me pay for gas or something." "Really, I'm fine. Anyone would have done the same thing." Jake looked at her with a strange expression. "No, Lisa. Not everyone would have stopped, especially not on a night like this." They walked back to their cars. Lisa's Honda looked very old next to Jake's expensive sedan. She didn't care. Her car got her where she needed to go. "Drive carefully," Lisa said. "The roads are really bad tonight." "You too. And thank you again." "Really?" Lisa got in her car and started the engine. She waved at Jake as she pulled back onto the highway. In her rearview mirror, she watched him get in his car and follow her onto the road. 20 minutes later, Lisa was home. She parked in front of her apartment building and ran through the rain to the front door. Her keys were wet and hard to handle, but she finally got inside. Danny was waiting for her in their small living room. He was sitting on the couch with his history book open. "You're really late," he said. "I was getting worried." "Sorry. I stopped to help someone with a flat tire." Danny smiled. "Of course you did. Dad would be proud." Lisa changed into dry clothes and sat down next to her brother. They studied for his history test until after midnight. As they worked, Lisa thought about Jake Morrison and his expensive car. He seemed like a nice man. She wondered what kind of research and development he did. She would never see him again, she thought. People like him lived in a different world from people like her, but that was okay. She had done the right thing by helping him. That was enough. Lisa had no idea that her life was about to change forever. Jake Morrison sat in his office on the 35th floor of the Morrison Tower. Through the large windows, he could see the city below. It was Friday morning, 3 days after the storm. He should have been reading the reports on his desk, but he kept thinking about the young woman who had helped him, Lisa Carter. He could still see her kneeling in the mud, working on his tire without caring about her clothes or the rain. She had refused his money and acted like helping him was the most natural thing in the world. Jake had met many people in his 43 years. Most of them wanted something from him, his money, his connections, his business. But Lisa had wanted nothing. She had just helped because it was right. Jake pressed a button on his phone. "Carol, can you come in here?" His assistant, Carol Williams, walked into the office. She had worked for Jake for 8 years and knew him well. She could tell when something was bothering him. "What can I do for you, Mr. Morrison?" "I need you to look into someone for me. Her name is Lisa Carter. She works at Murphy's Diner downtown and goes to school part-time." Carol wrote this down. "What kind of information do you need?" "Everything. School records, work history, family background, but be careful about it. I don't want her to know we're looking." Carol nodded. She was used to these requests. Jake often investigated people before doing business with them, but this seemed different somehow. "Is this for a business deal?" she asked. Jake looked out the window again. "Maybe. I'm not sure yet." After Carol left, Jake opened the folder marked Project Shield. Inside were photos and documents that most people would never believe. Pictures of strange ships in space, reports from government scientists, messages from military leaders. Jake had been working on Project Shield for 2 years. It was the most important thing he had ever done. It was also the most secret. Only 12 people in the world knew the truth about what was coming. Earth was not alone in the universe, and the neighbors were not friendly. The first alien ship had been spotted 18 months ago by a deep space telescope. Then more ships appeared. The government's best scientists studied the images and came to a terrible conclusion. The aliens were coming to Earth, and they were not coming in peace. Jake's company, Morrison Industries, built weapons and ships for the military. When the government needed someone to create Earth's defenses, they came to him. He had the money, the technology, and the security clearance to do the job. But Jake also had a problem. He needed brilliant people to work on Project Shield. The government scientists were smart, but they thought like government scientists. They followed rules and procedures. They were afraid to try new ideas. Jake needed people who could think differently, people who could solve problems in ways no one had tried before, people like Lisa Carter. The phone rang. It was Carol. "I have some information on Lisa Carter," she said. "Come in." Carol sat down and opened her folder. Lisa Carter is 24 years old. She lives with her younger brother Danny, who is 17. Their parents died in a car accident 3 years ago. Lisa became Danny's guardian. Jake listened carefully. She works full-time at Murphy's Diner and part-time at a garage called Pete's Auto Repair. She also goes to Central Community College part-time studying mechanical engineering. Her grades are perfect, straight A's in every class. What do her teachers say about her? I talked to Professor Williams, who teaches her physics class. He says Lisa is the smartest student he's ever had. She understands things that take other students weeks to learn. She also helps other students with their work. Carol turned the page. Professor Martinez teaches her materials science class. He says Lisa asks questions that even he has trouble answering. She thinks about problems in ways he's never seen before. Jake was getting more interested. What about her work? Her boss at the diner says she's the best worker he's ever had. Always on time, never complains, works harder than anyone else. At the garage, they say she can fix anything. Cars, trucks, motorcycles. She figures out problems that experienced mechanics can't solve. Does she have any family besides her brother? No, just Danny. They live in a small apartment on Oak Street. Lisa pays all the bills. She's also saving money for Danny's college tuition. Jake closed the folder. Lisa Carter was exactly what he had thought she was. Smart, hardworking, and honest. She also had something else he needed. She could solve problems. But there was another problem. How could he recruit her for Project Shield without telling her about the aliens? The project was too secret. New people had to prove themselves before learning the truth. Jake thought about this for the rest of the day. He went home to his large house in the expensive part of town. He ate dinner alone, like he did every night. He had no family. His parents were dead and he had never married. His work was his life. That weekend, Jake drove past Murphy's Diner. He could see Lisa through the window, serving customers and cleaning tables. She looked tired, but she was smiling at everyone. Even when people were rude to her, she stayed polite. Jake also drove past the apartment building where Lisa lived. It was old and not very nice. The parking lot had holes in it. Some of the windows were broken. This was not a good place for a smart young woman to live, but Lisa probably couldn't afford anything better. On Monday morning, Jake called a meeting with his top people on Project Shield. There were 6 of them in the secure conference room. All were brilliant scientists and engineers. All had been working on the alien problem for months. We need fresh ideas, Jake told them. We need people who think differently. I want to bring in some new team members. Dr. Roberts, the team leader, was not happy. Jake, you know how secret this project is. We can't just bring in random people. I'm not talking about random people. I'm talking about carefully chosen people. People who have special skills we need. What kind of skills? Jake thought about Lisa kneeling in the rain, quickly figuring out what was wrong with his tire. Problem-solving skills. The ability to see solutions that others miss. Dr. Adams spoke up. How will we test them without telling them about the project? We give them other problems to solve first. If they prove themselves, then we tell them the truth. The team discussed this for an hour. Finally, they agreed to try Jake's idea. They would bring in a few new people and test them on smaller projects first. Jake left the meeting feeling excited for the first time in months. He had been thinking about Lisa Carter for a week. Now he had a plan to recruit her. That afternoon, Jake called Carol into his office again. I want you to set up a meeting with Lisa Carter. What kind of meeting? A job interview. Tell her Morrison Industries is looking for smart young engineers. Tell her we saw her school records and were interested in her. Carol wrote this down. What position are you offering her? Jake smiled. Junior engineer, full benefits, flexible schedule so she can keep going to school. And Carol? Yes? Make the salary offer very good. Good enough that she won't have to work at the diner anymore. After Carol left, Jake looked out his window at the city again. Somewhere out there in space, alien ships were coming toward Earth. The government scientists said they had maybe a year and a half before the aliens arrived. Jake needed all the help he could get, and something told him that Lisa Carter might be exactly the help he needed. He just hoped she would say yes. Lisa was wiping down tables at Murphy's diner when she saw the black sedan pull into the parking lot. It was the same car from that rainy night a week ago. Her heart started beating faster when she saw Jake Morrison get out. He was wearing another expensive suit, this one dark blue. He looked around the diner parking lot like he had never seen a place like this before. Lisa watched through the window as he walked toward the front door. The bell above the door rang when Jake entered. The diner was busy with the lunch crowd. Truck drivers, office workers, and local people filled most of the tables. Jake looked very out of place in his fancy clothes. Lisa walked over to him with a smile. Jake, what are you doing here? Hello, Lisa. I was hoping we could talk. Sure, let me get you a table. Lisa led him to a quiet booth in the corner. Would you like some coffee? That would be great. Lisa poured coffee into a white mug and set it in front of Jake. How's your car? Did you get a new tire? Yes, thank you. The spare got me home safely. Jake took a sip of coffee. Actually, that's not why I'm here. Lisa sat down across from him. It was her break time anyway. Oh, what's going on? Jake looked nervous. Lisa had never seen him nervous before. Lisa, I need to tell you something. I wasn't completely honest with you the other night. Lisa felt worried. What do you mean? When I told you I work in research and development, that was true. But I didn't tell you the whole truth. Jake paused. I own the company, Morrison Industries. Lisa stared at him. Morrison Industries? The big technology company downtown? Yes. Lisa had heard of Morrison Industries. Everyone in the city had. They built things for the military and the government. They had thousands of employees and made millions of dollars every year. You're that Jake Morrison? Lisa asked. I am. Lisa didn't know what to say. Jake Morrison was one of the richest men in the city, maybe in the whole state, and she had changed his tire in the rain. Why didn't you tell me? She asked. Because I wanted you to treat me like a normal person, and you did. You helped me without knowing who I was or what I had. Lisa was still confused. Okay, but why are you here now? Jake leaned forward. I have a job offer for you. A job offer? Yes. I've been looking into your background, Lisa. I hope you don't mind. Your professors at school speak very highly of you. They say you're one of the smartest students they've ever taught. Lisa felt embarrassed. I just work hard. It's more than that. You see problems differently than other people. You find solutions that others miss. That's exactly what my company needs. Jake reached into his jacket and pulled out a folder. He set it on the table between them. I'd like to offer you a position as a junior engineer at Morrison Industries. Lisa opened the folder. Inside was a job description and a salary offer. When she saw the number, her eyes went wide. This can't be right, she said. It's right. The salary was more money than Lisa had ever imagined making. It was 3 times what she made working at the diner and the garage combined. Jake, I don't understand. I'm just a community college student. I don't have a degree yet. You don't need a degree to be smart, and smart is what I need. Jake pointed to the folder. The job comes with full health insurance, paid vacation, and a flexible schedule. You can continue going to school. We'll even pay for your tuition. Lisa felt dizzy. This was too good to be true. What kind of work would I be doing? Engineering work, solving problems, designing new systems, the kind of work you're already good at. But I've never worked for a big company before. I don't know anything about corporate engineering. Jake smiled. Lisa, You diagnosed the problem with my tire faster than most mechanics could have. You fixed it in the rain without complaining. You have the kind of practical intelligence that can't be taught in school. Lisa looked at the folder again. The money would change everything for her and Danny. She could quit working at the diner, she could focus on her studies. Danny could go to a good college without worrying about money. But something felt wrong about this. Jake, why me? You could hire any engineer you want. People with years of experience and fancy degrees from big universities. Jake was quiet for a moment. Can I tell you something, Lisa? In confidence? Sure. My company is working on some very important projects. Projects that could affect a lot of people. I need engineers who can think outside the box. People who aren't limited by what they learned in textbooks. What kind of projects? I can't tell you the details yet. They're classified, but I can tell you that the work we're doing could help protect people, could help keep them safe. Lisa thought about this. Jake seemed sincere, but the whole thing felt strange. Why would a millionaire come to a small diner to offer a job to a community college student? This is a lot to think about, Lisa said. I understand. Take your time. How much time do I have? A week. But Lisa, I want you to know something. The night you helped me, you didn't know who I was. You didn't know if I could do anything for you in return. You helped me because it was the right thing to do. Jake stood up and put money on the table for his coffee. That's the kind of person I want working for me. Someone who does the right thing, even when no one is watching. After Jake left, Lisa sat in the booth staring at the folder. Her boss, Murphy, came over to check on her. Who was that guy? Murphy asked. He looked important. His name is Jake Morrison. He offered me a job. Murphy whistled. Morrison Industries? That's big time, Lisa. You should take it. I don't know, Murphy. It seems too good to be true. Sometimes good things happen to good people. You work harder than anyone I know. You deserve a break. That evening, Lisa showed the job offer to Danny. He was doing homework at their small kitchen table when she got home. Look at this, she said, putting the folder in front of him. Danny read through the papers. His eyes got wide when he saw the salary. Lisa, this is incredible. You have to take this job. I'm not sure. Something about it feels weird. Weird how? Lisa sat down next to her brother. Why would the owner of Morrison Industries personally offer me a job? I'm nobody special. Yes, you are, Danny said firmly. You're the smartest person I know. You fixed Mrs. Johnson's car when 3 mechanics couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. You helped me with math problems that my teachers can't solve. That's different. No, it's not. Lisa, you've been taking care of me for 3 years. You work 2 jobs and go to school. You never complain and you never give up. Maybe this Jake Morrison guy sees what I see. That night, Lisa couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Jake's offer. She researched Morrison Industries on her old laptop. The company had a good reputation. They paid their employees well and treated them fairly. She also looked up Jake Morrison himself. There were articles about him in business magazines. He was known for being very smart and very private. Some articles called him a genius. Others said he was working on technology that was years ahead of anything else in the world. By morning, Lisa had made her decision. She would meet with Jake and ask him more questions. If his answers satisfied her, she would take the job. Lisa called the number Jake had given her. His assistant, Carol, answered. Mr. Morrison has been expecting your call, Carol said. When would you like to meet with him? As soon as possible. How about tomorrow at 10 in the morning, at our main office? That sounds good. After Lisa hung up, she felt nervous and excited at the same time. Tomorrow her life might change forever. She hoped she was making the right choice. Lisa had been working at Morrison Industries for 3 months now. Every morning she drove through the security gates and showed her badge to the guards. She still couldn't believe this was her life. The Morrison Industries building was huge and modern. Lisa's office was on the 20th floor with a view of the city. She had her own computer, her own desk, and her own projects to work on. At first, the work seemed normal. Lisa helped design better engines for spacecraft. She worked on new materials that were stronger and lighter than anything that existed before. The technology was amazing, but it made sense. Then things started getting strange. Lisa was working on a propulsion system that seemed impossible. The energy requirements were enormous. The materials needed properties that shouldn't exist. When she asked her supervisor why they needed something so powerful, he just said it was classified. She also noticed that half the building was off limits. There were areas with extra security guards and special locks. People who worked in those areas didn't talk about their jobs, even during lunch breaks. Lisa's coworkers were friendly but secretive. They were some of the smartest people she had ever met. Dr. Sarah Kim had 3 degrees from top universities. Mark Chen had worked for NASA for 10 years. Jennifer Brooks had designed weapons systems for the military, but none of them would talk about what they were really working on. Lisa tried not to think about it too much. The job was everything Jake had promised. The pay was excellent. She had quit working at Murphy's Diner in the garage. Danny was applying to good colleges now that money wasn't a problem. But Lisa was curious by nature. She couldn't stop wondering what was happening in the secret parts of the building. One Tuesday morning, Jake Morrison appeared at Lisa's office door. She hadn't seen him much since starting work. He was always busy with meetings and phone calls. "Good morning, Lisa. How are you settling in?" "Very well, thank you. Everyone has been really helpful." Jake sat down in the chair across from her desk. "I've been reading your reports. Your work on the propulsion systems is impressive." "Thank you. Though I have to admit some of the requirements seem unusual." Jake nodded. "I imagine they do. Lisa, I think it's time we had a serious conversation." "About what?" "About what you're really working on here." Jake stood up. "Can you come with me? There's something I need to show you." Lisa followed Jake out of her office and down the hall. They stopped at an elevator she had never seen before. It was behind a door that required a special key card. Jake used his card and the door opened. Inside the elevator, there were buttons for floors that Lisa didn't know existed. Jake pressed the button for the 40th floor. "I didn't know the building had 40 floors, Lisa said. "Most people don't." The elevator went up for a long time. When the doors opened, Lisa saw a hallway that looked very different from the rest of the building. There were more security cameras and thicker doors. Everything looked more serious. Jake led her to a conference room at the end of the hall. Inside were several people Lisa recognized from around the building, including Dr. Kim and Mark Chen. There were also some people she had never seen before. They looked like military officers. "Please sit down, Lisa," Jake said. Lisa sat at the large table. Everyone was looking at her with serious expressions. She felt nervous. "Lisa," Jake began, "what I'm about to tell you is classified at the highest level. You cannot discuss it with anyone outside this room. Not your brother, not your friends, not anyone. Do you understand?" "Yes." Jake pressed a button on the table. The lights dimmed and a large screen came down from the ceiling. An image appeared on the screen. Lisa gasped. It was a photograph of space, but there were objects in the image that didn't belong there. Large, dark shapes that looked like ships. This photograph was taken by our Deep Space Telescope 18 months ago, Jake said. "These are not human ships." Lisa stared at the screen. "Are you saying those are alien spacecraft?" "Yes." More images appeared on the screen. Different angles of the same ships. Close-up shots that showed details of their construction. Lisa could see that they were definitely not made by humans. "We've been tracking them ever since," Jake continued. "There are dozens of them. Maybe hundreds. And they're all heading toward Earth." Dr. Kim spoke up. "We've intercepted some of their communications. They're not coming here to be friends, Lisa. They're coming to take over our planet." Lisa felt like the room was spinning. "This is real. This is actually happening." "I'm afraid so," Jake said. "According to our calculations, they'll arrive in about 15 months. A military officer Lisa didn't recognize stood up. "Ms. Carter, I'm General Adams. I want you to understand how serious this situation is. These aliens have conquered at least 12 other worlds. They have technology far beyond ours. If we don't stop them, humanity will either be enslaved or destroyed. Lisa tried to process what she was hearing. Why are you telling me this? Jake sat down next to her. Because we need your help. Morrison Industries is part of a secret government program called Project Shield. Our job is to develop weapons and defenses that can protect Earth from the invasion. The propulsion systems you've been working on, Dr. Kim added, they're for spacecraft. Human spacecraft that will fight the aliens. Lisa looked around the room. You want me to help build weapons? We want you to help save humanity, Jake said quietly. More images appeared on the screen. These showed human spacecraft that were under construction. They looked sleek and powerful, but Lisa could see they were still incomplete. We've made good progress, Mark Chen explained, but we're stuck on several key problems. The propulsion systems aren't efficient enough. The weapon systems drain too much power. The defensive shields can't handle the alien energy weapons. Jake turned to Lisa. That's where you come in. You have a way of looking at problems that none of us have. You see solutions that we miss. Lisa was quiet for several minutes. Everyone waited for her to speak. Finally, she looked up. The people on those other planets that were conquered, what happened to them? General Adams answered. Some were killed immediately. Others were enslaved. We haven't detected any survivors on any of the 12 worlds. How do you know the aliens are hostile? Have you tried to communicate with them? We tried, Dr. Kim said. They ignored our messages. The only communications we've intercepted are military in nature. Battle plans, fleet movements, invasion, strategies. Lisa stood up and walked to the screen. She looked at the images of the alien ships. They were unlike anything she had ever seen, but she could understand their basic design principles. You said our weapons aren't powerful enough? That's right, Jake said. And our ships aren't fast enough? Correct. Lisa turned back to face the group. Show me everything. All the designs, all the problems, all the failed attempts. I want to see what we're working with. Jake smiled for the first time since the meeting began. Does that mean you're in? Lisa thought about Danny at home, probably doing his homework. She thought about all the people in the city below who had no idea what was coming. She thought about the 12 dead worlds and their missing populations. Yes, she said. I'm in. But I have one condition. What's that? When this is over, when we've stopped the aliens, I want you to help me make sure this never happens again. I want us to be ready for anything that might come after them. Jake nodded. Deal. As the meeting continued, and Lisa learned more about the alien threat, she felt a mixture of fear and determination. The task ahead seemed impossible. Earth's technology was primitive compared to what was coming, but Lisa had always been good at solving impossible problems. And now she had the most important problem of her life to solve. The survival of the human race depended on it. Lisa spent the next 2 weeks studying everything about the alien ships. She looked at thousands of photographs and technical drawings. She read reports from the military scientists and watched videos of the alien fleet moving through space. The more she learned, the more worried she became. The alien ships were huge and powerful. They had weapons that could destroy entire cities. Their shields could stop any weapon that humans had ever built. But Lisa also noticed something that the other scientists had missed. She was working late one night in the secure laboratory on the 40th floor. The room was filled with computer screens showing alien ship designs. Dr. Kim and Mark Chen had gone home hours ago, but Lisa was still there, drinking her 5th cup of coffee. She was looking at a close-up image of an alien engine when something clicked in her mind. The design reminded her of something familiar. She couldn't figure out what it was at first. Then she remembered. It looked like the engine of an old truck she had fixed at Pete's garage. Lisa laughed out loud. It seemed crazy to compare alien technology to a broken-down truck, but the more she looked, the more similarities she saw. The aliens had built their engines to be powerful and reliable, but they had also made them complicated. There were too many parts, too many systems that could break down, just like that old truck, which had 7 different problems when the owner only needed it to start. Lisa grabbed a piece of paper and started drawing. She sketched out a simpler design, one that combined human engineering with what she had learned about alien technology. The breakthrough came at 3 in the morning. Lisa was looking at the power requirements for the human defense ships when she realized the problem. Everyone was trying to match the aliens' power output, but that was the wrong approach. Humans didn't need to be stronger than the aliens. They needed to be smarter. Lisa spent the rest of the night working on calculations. By the time Jake arrived in the morning, she had filled 6 whiteboards with equations and diagrams. "Lisa, have you been here all night?" Jake asked. "I think I figured it out," Lisa said excitedly. "The power problem. I know how to solve it." Jake looked at the whiteboards. The math was too complex for him to understand, but he could see the excitement in Lisa's eyes. "Show me," he said. Lisa pointed to her drawings. "Everyone has been trying to build engines that are as powerful as the alien engines, but we've been thinking about it wrong." "How so?" "The aliens built their ships to last for hundreds of years. They over-engineered everything. But we don't need our ships to last that long, we just need them to work for one battle." Lisa drew a new diagram. "If we simplify the design and use lighter materials, we can build ships that are faster and more maneuverable than anything the aliens have." Jake was starting to understand. "Like the difference between a tank and a race car." "Exactly. The tank is stronger, but the race car is faster. And in space combat, speed might be more important than armor." Dr. Kim arrived an hour later, followed by the rest of the team. Lisa explained her idea to everyone. At first, some of the scientists were skeptical. "The power output is still too low," Mark Chen said. "Our weapons won't be able to penetrate their shields." "That's the second part of my idea," Lisa said. She turned to a new whiteboard. "We don't try to break through their shields. We find a way around them." Lisa had been studying the alien shield technology for weeks. She had noticed that the shields were designed to stop direct attacks, but they had a weakness. "Look at this," she said, pointing to an analysis of alien shield patterns. "Their shields are like umbrellas. They're very good at stopping things that come straight at them, but they're weaker on the sides and back. So our ships would have to get behind them," Dr. Kim said. "Right, which is why we need to be faster and more maneuverable." General Adams had been listening quietly. Now he spoke up. "This is all very interesting, Ms. Carter, but do you think it will actually work?" Lisa was quiet for a moment. "I don't know for sure, but I know it's better than what we have now. And I know that sometimes the simple solution is the best solution." Over the next month, Lisa worked with the team to turn her ideas into reality. They called her new engine design the Carter Drive. It was smaller and lighter than anything they had built before, but it was also much more efficient. The first test flight was scheduled for a Tuesday morning. Lisa stood in the control room with Jake and the other scientists, watching as the prototype ship prepared for launch. "This is either going to be brilliant or a complete disaster," Mark Chen said, nervously. "Let's find out," Lisa replied. The test ship lifted off from the secret launch pad behind the Morrison Industries building. On the screens, they could see it climbing rapidly into the sky. The Carter Drive worked perfectly. The ship accelerated, faster than any human spacecraft had ever moved. It turned and twisted through the air like a fighter jet, but with the power of a rocket. "My God," Dr. Kim whispered. "It's actually working." The test pilot's voice came through the radio. "This is incredible. The ship responds like it's reading my mind. I've never felt anything like this." Lisa felt tears in her eyes. For the first time since learning about the alien threat, she felt hope. But the Carter Drive was only part of the solution. Lisa also worked on new weapon systems and better shields for the human ships. She designed modular components that could be quickly replaced or reconfigured during battle. Her biggest breakthrough came when she was working on planetary defense systems. The government wanted huge shield generators that could protect entire cities. But Lisa had a different idea. "Instead of building a few big shields," she explained to the team, "we build thousands of small ones. If the aliens destroy some of them, the others keep working." Lisa's design used networks of small shield generators that could work together or independently. If one section was damaged, the others could adjust to fill the gap. It's like a spider web, she told Jake. You can cut some of the strands, but the web still holds together. The military scientists were amazed by Lisa's innovations. In just a few months, she had solved problems that had stumped them for over a year. But Lisa knew that having good technology wasn't enough. They also needed good tactics. She spent hours studying the alien battle formations and communication patterns. She noticed that the aliens fought in very organized groups. Each ship had a specific role and followed orders exactly. That's their weakness, Lisa told General Adams. They're not used to dealing with chaos. If we can disrupt their formations and force them to adapt quickly, we might be able to confuse them. Lisa proposed using small groups of human ships to attack from multiple directions at once. The human ships would be fast enough to strike and retreat before the aliens could respond effectively. It's like a swarm of bees attacking a bear, she explained. The bear is bigger and stronger, but the bees can sting from all directions at once. As the months passed, Lisa's designs were used to build Earth's first real space defense fleet. Dozens of ships equipped with Carter drives were constructed in secret factories around the world. Lisa also helped train the pilots who would fly these ships. She taught them to think like mechanics rather than traditional military pilots. Don't try to overpower the enemy, she told them. Outthink them, find their weak spots and exploit them. With only 6 months left before the alien arrival, Lisa felt cautiously optimistic. The human fleet was still smaller than the alien force, but it was faster, smarter, and more adaptable. Most importantly, it was ready to fight for the survival of the human race. Lisa often thought about that rainy night when she had helped Jake with his flat tire. She had no idea then that her simple act of kindness would lead to this moment. Now she was humanity's best hope against an alien invasion. The final preparations were almost complete. Soon they would find out if human ingenuity was enough to save the world. The alien ships appeared on the edge of the solar system on a cold March morning. Lisa was in the command center at Morrison Industries when the first alerts came in. Red lights flashed across every screen in the room. Contact confirmed, announced Dr. Kim from her station. 47 large vessels estimated arrival at Earth orbit in 6 hours. Lisa looked at the main display screen. The alien fleet was enormous. Each ship was the size of a city, dark and menacing against the stars. For a moment, she felt the same fear that had gripped her when she first learned about the invasion. Then she remembered all the work they had done. The Carter drive ships were ready. The planetary shields were online. The human pilots had trained for months. Everything that could be prepared had been prepared. Jake stood next to her, watching the approaching fleet. "Are you ready for this?" he asked quietly. "As ready as we'll ever be," Lisa replied. General Adams spoke into his radio. "All defense stations, this is command. Operation Shield is now active. Repeat, Operation Shield is active." Around the world, secret military bases came to life. Human spacecraft powered by Carter drives launched from hidden facilities. Pilots, who had been waiting for this moment, finally had their chance to defend their planet. Lisa put on her headset and took her position at the engineering console. She would coordinate the technical aspects of the battle from here, monitoring ship systems and making real-time adjustments to their defenses. The first wave of human ships reached the aliens when they were still 3 hours from Earth. Captain Mike Rodriguez led 12 Carter drive fighters in a high-speed attack run against the alien formation. "This is Eagle Leader," Rodriguez's voice came through the radio. "Beginning attack approach. These things are even bigger up close." Lisa watched the tactical display as the human ships streaked toward the alien fleet. The aliens detected them immediately and began firing their energy weapons. Bright flashes lit up space as the two forces engaged. "Eagle Leader, break left," Lisa called into her radio. "Alien Ship 7 is targeting you with heavy weapons." Rodriguez's ship twisted away, just as a massive energy beam cut through the space where he had been. The Carter drive's superior maneuverability allowed him to escape what would have been a killing blow. "Thanks for the warning, Command. These aliens are fast, but our ships are faster." The first battle lasted 20 minutes. The human ships darted in and out of the alien formation like angry wasps, striking weak points and retreating before the aliens could respond effectively. 2 human ships were destroyed, but they managed to damage 3 alien vessels. More importantly, they disrupted the alien battle formation. The aliens had expected to face primitive human technology. Instead, they encountered ships that could outrun and outmaneuver their own vessels. "They're confused," Lisa observed, watching the alien fleet on her screens. "Look at their formation. They're bunching up instead of spreading out. They don't know how to deal with our hit-and-run tactics." The second wave of attacks came from a different direction. Captain Sarah Johnson led 20 ships in an assault on the alien fleet's left flank. This time, the humans used Lisa's modular weapon systems to maximum effect. "Target their command ships," Lisa radioed to Johnson. "The big ones in the center. If we can disrupt their communications, they'll have trouble coordinating their response." Johnson's squadron dove toward the alien command vessels. The aliens fired everything they had, but the human ships were too small and too fast. They slipped through the defensive fire like arrows through a storm. "Direct hit on alien command ship Alpha," Johnson reported. "Their communications are down. The smaller ships aren't responding to orders." Lisa smiled grimly. This was exactly what she had hoped for. The aliens relied on centralized command. Without their commanders giving orders, the individual ships didn't know what to do, but the aliens were learning. As the human ships prepared for their third attack wave, the alien fleet changed formation. They spread out and began using different tactics. "They're adapting faster than we expected," General Adams said. "That's okay," Lisa replied. "So are we." Lisa activated her planetary defense systems as the alien fleet approached Earth's orbit. Thousands of small shield generators on the planet's surface came online, creating overlapping energy barriers around major cities. The aliens tried to break through the shields with their most powerful weapons. Energy beams that could destroy mountains struck the defensive barriers. But Lisa's design held. When one section of the shield network was damaged, the other generators adjusted to maintain protection. "Planetary shields holding at 85%, reported Dr. Kim. The real test came when the aliens launched their ground assault troops. Small fast ships detached from the main fleet and headed for Earth's surface. They were trying to land soldiers who could attack the shield generators directly. "This is where we find out if our training paid off," Lisa muttered. Captain Tom Wilson led the final wave of human defenders. His squadron of 30 ships intercepted the alien landing craft just as they entered Earth's atmosphere. "Remember what Lisa taught us," Wilson radioed to his pilots. "Don't try to outfight them, outsmart them, use their size against them." The battle over Earth was unlike anything in human history. Human and alien ships twisted and turned through the sky above cities where millions of people watched from below. The Carter drive ships danced around the larger alien craft, striking at weak points and engines. Lisa monitored everything from the command center. She tracked power levels, coordinated repairs, and provided tactical advice to the pilots. Her modular designs allowed damaged ships to quickly swap out broken components and return to battle. The turning point came when Lisa noticed a pattern in the alien fleet communications. Even though their main command ship was damaged, the aliens were still trying to coordinate their attacks through secondary communication channels. "I have an idea," Lisa told Jake. "What if we could jam their communications completely? Can we do that?" Lisa was already working on her computer, analyzing the alien signal patterns. "Their communication system is more centralized than ours. If I can create a targeted electromagnetic pulse, I might be able to shut down their entire network." "Do it." Lisa worked frantically for 10 minutes, modifying the planetary shield generators to produce a specific frequency pulse. It was risky. If she got the frequency wrong, it might shut down human communications too. "Firing EMP in 3, 2, 1. The pulse swept out from Earth like an invisible wave. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, one by one, the alien ships began to drift out of formation. "Their communications are down," Dr. Kim announced. "All alien ships have stopped coordinating." Without central command, the alien fleet fell apart. Individual ships found themselves surrounded by faster, more maneuverable human vessels. Some aliens tried to fight on alone, but most began retreating toward the edge of the solar system. "They're running," Captain Rodriguez reported from his ship. The whole fleet is pulling back. Lisa watched on her screens as the alien fleet regrouped at a safe distance from Earth. They held position there for several hours, probably trying to decide what to do next. Finally, the aliens began moving away from Earth entirely. Within a day, they had left the solar system completely. Contact lost, Dr. Kim announced. All alien vessels have departed. The command center erupted in cheers. People hugged each other and cried with relief. Humanity had won its first interstellar war. Jake put his hand on Lisa's shoulder. You did it. You actually did it. Lisa looked around at all the people who had worked so hard to defend their planet. We did it. All of us together. In the weeks that followed, the world learned the truth about the alien invasion and how it had been stopped. Lisa became famous as the engineer who saved humanity, though she always insisted that victory had been a team effort. Morrison Industries was transformed from a secret defense contractor into the foundation of Earth's new space program. The Carter drive technology led to rapid advances in space exploration and colonization. Danny graduated from high school and enrolled in the new space academy that was built using alien technology studies. He wanted to become an engineer like his sister. Lisa continued working with Jake to build Earth's defenses for the future. They knew that other alien threats might come someday, and they wanted humanity to be ready. One evening, Lisa and Jake were driving past the spot on Highway 47 where they had first met. It was a clear night and they could see stars through the windshield. Do you ever think about that night? Jake asked. When you stopped to help me? All the time, Lisa replied. I had no idea that changing a tire would lead to all this. You saved my life that night, and because of that you ended up saving everyone's life. Lisa smiled. I just did what anyone should do. I helped someone who needed help. As they drove through the night, Lisa thought about how much the world had changed. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, but they had proven they could defend themselves. They had shown that human ingenuity and determination could overcome any challenge, and it had all started with a simple act of kindness on a rainy night. The future was full of possibilities, and Lisa was ready for whatever came next.